Hi, my name's Rosa and I'm from AinsCorp. We distribute salts ostomy products throughout Australia and New Zealand, and today I'm going to talk to you about you and your stoma, a little bit of information prior to your surgery, just in case you come out with a stoma afterwards. So first of all, what is a stoma? A stoma is the result of an operation that is meant to remove disease and relieve symptoms. It is when an artificial opening is created that allows feces from the intestines or urine from the urinary tract to pass into a collection pouch. A stoma is created using a section of intestine which is brought to the surface of your abdomen to form the stoma or opening. There are 3 different types of stomas. There are 2 from the digestive system and 1 from the urinary system. The digestive system's normal job is to absorb nutrients, water and salts from food, and the urinary system's job is to remove waste from the blood and to dispose of urea. Life can be normal with a stoma. You simply have a different waste collection point than you would previously. The 3 different types of stomas we're going to talk about today are a colostomy, which is formed by bringing part of the colon or your large intestine through to the surface of the abdomen or stomach, an ileostomy, which is formed by bringing part of the ileum or small intestine through to the surface of the abdomen or stomach, and a urostomy, which is formed when we bypass the bladder. This happens when we bring the ureters, normally coming from the kidney, to the bladder. Instead, we take them and join them to a small resected piece of small intestine, and that is then brought through to the surface of the abdomen. So urine, instead of flowing from the kidneys through the ureters to the bladder, it flows from the kidneys through the ureters through this little piece of small intestine that we've used to create the stoma and into a collection pouch. There are many reasons why a stoma has to be formed, and these are either emergency or planned stomas. These include colorectal cancer, where part or the complete bowel is removed due to cancer, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, including inflammatory bowel disease, diverticular disease, fecal incontinence, trauma, radiation damage, congenital abnormalities, bladder cancer, urinary incontinence, and interstitial cystitis. This is not an exhaustive list, but it is some of the most common reasons why stomas are formed. So what does a stoma look like? The important thing to know is that your stoma doesn't have nerves that you can feel. There is no sensation and you won't feel any pain from your stoma being pulled through to your stomach. It will look a little bit like the photos on the right. Everyone's stoma will look slightly different, but it will kind of look like the inside of your mouth and will be soft to touch. It'll be a pinky red colour and should be nice and moist. It may be flat to your abdomen or it may stand out slightly like we can see in these photos. Your stoma has a rich blood supply and it is normal for it to bleed a little from time to time, especially when you're cleaning and changing your pouch. As I mentioned, there is no sensation in your stoma and it will not be painful. It is likely to be swollen at first and it will take a few weeks to reduce in size as the swelling goes down after surgery. There will be small stitches around the edge of your stoma which will either be dissolvable or your stoma care nurse will remove them in 1 to 2 weeks after your operation. After your surgery, when you wake up, you will feel tired. It is possible that you may experience a range of emotions during this time and for some time afterwards. This will vary as we're all very different. You might have drips and drain tubes attached to your body, but there's no reason to be alarmed. This is normal. These will all be removed when appropriate and with very little discomfort. As I said before, every stoma is different and it may take a while for the stoma to start working, but your stomal therapy nurse will keep an eye on this. After your surgery, you will have a collection pouch covering the stoma. This may change while your stoma settles, as different types of stomas, different types of output, different types of skin all require different types of pouches, and your stoma nurse will guide you through all of this. So what does a stoma product or pouch look like? A majority of colostomates, or those with a stoma from their large intestine, will use a closed pouch or appliance, and they'll change this 1 to 3 times a day as it fills up. If the output from the stoma is more liquid, usually from those with an ileostomy, so a stoma from their small intestine, they will use a drainable pouch or appliance and drain it as it fills up with output. These don't need to be changed every time they fill up like a closed pouch, because we can drain them as they start to fill up, and your stoma nurse will advise how often to change the entire pouch. The important thing to remember is that drainable pouches must be emptied when they're 1/3 to half full, otherwise emptying could cause spillage. The pouches come in a variety of sizes, mini, standard and large, to suit individuals' daily requirements, and your nurse will go through this with you. All of the pouches have a filter which aids in expelling gas from the bag, and you must regularly check your pouch for how full they are, if there's any leakage, is there any ballooning, is it blowing up with too much gas in the bag, and really importantly, that your pouch is still sticking correctly to your skin. So here are some photos of the different types of pouches that you might be using. An ostomate, so that's someone with a stoma, will either use a 1-piece or a 2-piece appliance, depending on the type of stoma they have, their lifestyle and their preferences. The 1-piece appliances is when you have the base plate, so the sticky part of the bag that attaches to your skin, and the collection pouch, they are completely 1 piece. So when we change our pouch, we change the sticky part and the collection pouch at the same time. There are also 2-piece systems, and in this case, like in the photo on the right, we have the base plates that are separate to the collection pouches. This means the base plate can be left on the skin for longer and the collection pouch changed more frequently. Then we also have urostomy collection pouches. These are different to a colostomy and ileostomy pouch, as they have a tap on the bottom of them that can be used for drainage. So they will fill up with urine and you will go to the bathroom like you normally would, but instead you will just drain the urine through the tap into the toilet. These can be drained as they fill up, and your stoma nurse will advise on how often you should be changing your pouch. These as well can be 1-piece or 2-piece, and they all connect to an overnight drainage bag, so you're not having to get up multiple times through the night just to empty your pouch. So what is a hydrocolloid? A hydrocolloid is the sticky part of your collection pouch that I've been talking about. So it's the adhesive wafer that sticks the pouch to your skin. This is the most important feature of the bag and in managing a stoma. It's made especially for stoma care, and it's comprised of adhesive and absorptive components that absorb discharge, protect your skin, and are really gentle and flexible. If you're having something on your skin 24 hours a day, we want to make sure that it's actually good for your skin and not going to cause any damage. Hydrocolloids are very strong and they will ensure the pouch stays securely stuck to the skin until it's ready to be changed. There are many different types, all with different compositions and additives. It is a really strong adhesive. It has to be, because we want to keep that collection pouch stuck really safely to your skin. So we need to be really careful when we're removing it, that we don't just rip it off like we might sometimes with a band-aid. We need to very carefully peel it off the skin so not to cause any damage. You've probably got heaps and heaps of questions that are unanswered, and this is just a very, very brief video. If you do want some more information, all the companies have really good websites, and if you just do a quick Google, Ostomy Australia, you'll get plenty of websites to come up that will have plenty of information to give you more of an idea of life with a stoma and hopefully answer some questions that you might have. So how do we actually get these stoma pouches? Well, in both Australia and New Zealand, we're very lucky because we have a government funded scheme that provides these products for ostomates. In Australia, you will be joined to an ostomy association. There is a small membership fee and a small postage cost each month, and these associations will take your order, contact all the companies, and distribute your product to you. Your stoma nurse will join you up and help you through the ordering process after your surgery. In New Zealand, your stomal therapy nurse will order your product for you. They will arrange the product delivery every month and they'll help you through this process. If you have further questions, like I mentioned, all the ostomy company websites are fantastic. There is also an app on the Google Play or the App Store called the Salts Trainer app, which has some great videos and some really helpful frequently asked questions and tips and tricks for living with a stoma. You can contact your stomal therapy nurse, and if you're not sure who that might be, the best places are stomaltherapy.com for those in Australia to find their closest nurse, and ostomy.org.nz for New Zealand ostomates to find their closest nurse. If you're in Australia, you can also contact the Ostomy Association if you have questions, and all of the ostomy companies have great customer care services, so feel free to give them a call as well. And thank you for listening.